Hi and welcome to Sabas How To. Today I'll be making Jamaican rum cake. Now that is a favourite of mine and is also a favourite of my husband's. I'm going to make a cake actually for him. Having recently come back from Jamaica, we bought Ray and Nephew, that's a popular rum in Jamaica. That is overproof white rum. That is 63% volume. Very good. And this is what I'll be using in my rum cake. I've also soaked some raisins with rum, with that overproof white rum. And I've also put red wine in there as well. So it's been sitting in there for about maybe 3 weeks. Also, these are the other ingredients that I'll be using. Some mixed spices, cinnamon, ginger, the normal basic cake recipe, sugar, brown sugar, white sugar, flour, eggs, also vanilla and gravy browning. Gravy browning is to get the colour. This is hard to get in the part of Europe that I live in at the moment, so that's something that I brought back from Jamaica as well, gravy browning. The name gravy browning is to make your sauces and your gravies darker, and also to make the cake darker. And some vanilla essence. Vanilla essence is not hard to get here, but they come in such small little vials that you need to buy maybe about 10 of these. So also in Jamaica, got some vanilla essence. And the usual lemon, baking powder and butter, margarine. Also, I always use my little book. I put all the recipes that I find that are appealing to me in this book, and I work from this book. Also, the utensils that I'll be using. I have a blender here. What I'm going to do with this blender is I'm going to take some of these raisins and I'm going to blend it. Try and get it to a mushy kind of consistency, because although the raisins are full in there at the moment, they tend to sink to the bottom of the cake. So I'm going to just blend it a little bit. So that's the ingredients, and watch how I make this Jamaican rum cake. I do own some scales, but I like to work with these measuring spoons. They come in sizes of milliliters, so I like to work with those. What I'll do first is weigh out the dry ingredients, the flour, the baking powder and the spices. And I'll put them all in one bowl. You would want 2.5 cups of white flour. We need 3 teaspoons of baking powder. And for the spices, teaspoon of ginger, cinnamon, allspice. I'll put a little bit more than teaspoon, maybe 1.5 teaspoons of allspice, and nutmeg, 1 teaspoon. And I'm going to mix this together. Put that to the side and then start the second half of the ingredients. So weighed out the butter, that's 2 cups of butter in there, and that's 5 of these spoons. Now I'm going to add to that the sugar. That's also 2 cups, 5 of these. I'm going to add that to the butter. And I'm going to add just one of these of brown sugar. Okay. Now what we need to get out of this mixture is a creamy texture. So mixing it together, you can use, I do have a Kenwood chef, but I'm going to do this one by hand. And I've also got a hand mixer. You could use the hand mixer as well, but I'm going to be using this wooden spoon to make it creamy. In the meantime, what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend these eggs. And then when this mixture is a creamy texture, I'm going to add the eggs slowly to the mixture. I'll get to beating the sugar and the butter together. Join me back when it's nice and creamy texture. So as you can see, the butter and the sugar is to a fluffy, creamy texture. So I'm going to add the eggs slowly to it and mix it at the same time. Incorporate the eggs slowly. Add the lemon juice. That's about a tablespoon. And just gently incorporate that. Mixture looks to a curdled texture, so I'm going to add the flour slowly to it. Add about 2 spoons at a time. And mix it in. Remember, this flour mixture is with all the spices in it and the baking powder. Decided to do this mixture by hand as because it's an old recipe, it's an old Jamaican recipe. Food mixers and things like that wasn't a big part in the cooking of Jamaican women, so I decided to go back to the drawing board and use the basic of utensils and the basic way of creating it. Using this whisk, it mixes the ingredients in better than just the wooden spoon, so that's what I'm using the beater for, the whisk for. So now what I'm going to do is, like I said to you before, is I'm going to blend some of the raisins. Put it in the same bowl as the eggs and just blend them up. It smells excellent. The rum, the wine, the raisins itself. It's a gorgeous smell. So, get the blender. I'm going to add my blended raisins to the mixture. And I'm also going to add some of the whole raisins, if you like. About 3 tablespoons of the whole mixture. And as you can see, the rum and the wine is going in. And I'm just going to add a little bit from the mixture to the cake. So it's going to be quite a runny base, a runny batter. Be careful not to splash everywhere. Just be very gentle when mixing this mixture with liquid. If you feel that you want more raisins in the cake, then by all means put them in. I also used to use glacé cherries and chop them up and put them with the raisin mixture, but this time it's just raisins. So, and now for the vanilla. I'm not going to measure this out. Just pour it in. Mix it up. Sometimes I don't always follow the measurements in the recipe that I choose. For example, the recipe that I chosen asked for 9 eggs. I think 7 eggs are also sufficient. So, and I also didn't weigh out the raisins either, so it's just to your liking basically. Now also I'm going to add the gravy browning, so you can see the colour it is at the moment, and what you want is a dark chocolate brown colour. You don't need a lot. I'd like it to be much darker, so I'll add some more. And that should be sufficient to my liking. If you want it darker, of course, then you add a little bit more. So what I'm going to add as well is I'm going to add some rum. And again, to your liking. This rum is very strong, like I said before, it's 63% volume. And just get some of this mixture out. Scrape down the sides, get all that mixture in. You don't want to waste any of it. There's the batter. Let me have a little taste. Excellent. I can taste the rum. So now what I'm going to do is put these into tins. They're going into the oven at 180 degrees. So join me after to see what they look like and of course what it tastes like. So now it's time to check the cake. It's an hour past already, so let's see. Just get yourself a knife and place the knife in the middle of the cake. And there's no cake residue on it, so that means it's ready. So, time to take them out. Looks good and smells good. I can smell the rum. So, I'll let it cool down for an hour and then it's time to taste. Although I believe there's enough rum in there, just to show you guys. And it soaks in straight away. So, time to eat. Very nice.